Hello, everybody. How are you? Welcome. Happy holidays. We're not allowed to say Merry Christmas as part of our war on Christmas. Obviously, that's over with.
Yes,
We're
and in the
canceling
spirit of
Christmas.
the war on Christmas, I just posted in episode discussion the optimal menorah for celebrating Hanukkah.
What is this? You're showing. It looks like 4 Coke bottles. Oh God, it's a fucking bomb. Anyway, Adam Cardo.
Hey,
My
it's
usual.
Adam. I'm guest hosting.
That's right. Crossovers are happening.
Oh snap! Hello,
Never
Brandon's other
stopping.
podcast.
Yes. And Kennedy Cooper, who's not at all a crossover.
No,
He's just the guy.
I'm always here.
That's right.
Is it just you and Kennedy?
Yeah. Leia's not here. Leia had to duck out and do something for school, something for life, something, whatever.
Something.
Yeah. But
She can
we
be a
thought
little vague, but we trust her.
Oh, so you did have a third person,
yeah.
but they're just not here. That's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't actually know how many people were on your other podcast. I thought it may have been like 4.
Have you ever listened to this show before?
No.
You are not
Not at all.
displaying
For a treat.
solidarity. You could be retweeting,
To
upvoting.
be fair, I'm pretty bad about listening to our own show.
I don't think you've
I'm
ever
like Jerry Springer. I don't watch my own stuff.
This is true. You've got to really put all your energy into the You're like Adam Driver. They showed Adam Driver like a clip of him.
I'm sorry. He was such an awful choice
What?
for Ben Solo.
We're gonna. Okay, listen. We're starting with hot takes
I
already.
haven't even seen the 6th movie, but I have a bunch of takes about the other two and Star Wars in general.
I think he's the best thing about the last 2 movies. You definitely he's because he is more pathetic than the average movie villain, but that's good. Like, that's interesting. That's something that you can think about and speculate and wonder what he's gonna do next. Whereas
He's a modern
Thanos,
2019 incel villain.
yeah, but I mean, way better done than like Cuck. I mean, Kylo Ren is way. I mean,
I'm actually changing my mind now. That is a pretty good point.
yeah, he's like
someone better than Driver, maybe. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. He's not like a hot guy, but he should be inspiration to all of you people who are like, I can't do this, I'm not hot enough. Look, he just worked out and brooded and just
I'm a Marine.
Well, yeah, you join the Marine.
Just be a troop.
Yeah, just
And
If
then
you're not hot, be a troop. You'll get hot.
easy.
That's
simple.
You
Anyway.
can quote us on that, but actually don't, please.
you don't support the troops. Wow, fucking
Well,
lives.
no, I support our real troops, pizza delivery drivers.
Thank you. As a delivery driver, I appreciate your gratitude.
Well,
And
around the
give it to me
holidays
in Venmo
especially,
form.
pizza delivery driving is a pretty dangerous job.
Adam
So-
is a rideshare driver, and if we I don't know if
And
we've talked.
delivery.
Oh,
'cause
I didn't know you
both.
did delivery. Damn.
Yeah, I do.
Really
Uber,
on top of it.
Uber and Uber Eats are the same thing. Like, I don't know why people think those are 2 separate things. Like, it's all the same app. Like I'm sitting in the car just waiting for either an Uber order or
One
an
of
Uber Eats
them-
order,
one
and
of
it
them
just
blings or
one
the
of them
other.
just bings.
Yeah.
And
There
there's,
were
like,
according to stats, there have been like 70 billion sexual assault on Uber and Lyft. What someone pointed out to me, I think it was Asher actually. Adam, we had Asher Knuckles on the show yesterday.
oh, how was he?
He was great. He was
Great.
very intriguing.
Yeah.
Very good guest. We'll talk about it, I guess, later, because I don't know when it's
That'll
going
be
to
out
publish.
like a week after this comes out. So if you're listening to this
Yeah,
right now,
I'm pissed at him though. He never went to one of the training we held and never filled out the feedback form, so we couldn't give
Oh.
accurate feedback. So
uh-oh.
I mean,
But,
how are we supposed to do this?
Asher
How
is
are we
way-
supposed to use scientific socialists if we don't have the evidence?
We
Asher
need
is
more
in the 11th
science.
district. He's practically in Tennessee. Like, he can give feedback.
That's all the better. That we need to get a branch started out there. They need it.
That would be
They could use some
that
love.
would be very that would be very interesting. I'd love to see us start a branch up there.
We could have a branch everywhere in Georgia, but y'all playing. So
Yeah.
fucking leadership, man.
Either
Crank
way,
it all the way.
talk to Asher, and he said that those sexual assault cases on Lyft and Uber weren't just the drivers doing it to the passengers. The passengers are assaulting the driver. It's very spooky out there. Adam, just cover yourself, protect yourself.
No, people just everyone when I tell them I'm an Uber driver, they're like, "Oh God, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yes." Is something bad gonna happen? Because it creeps me out. It creeps me out. Like how concerned people are about me. Because I don't feel that unsafe. But everyone is so scared. I think should I be more scared?
Protect our beautiful baby boy.
Thank you.
What?
And also, I also want to give a plug to Rideshare Drivers United of Georgia. That's the union I'm a part of. And we need it because they treat us like shit.
Do they have a URL?
Yes.
Is it?
I'm trying to find it.
While you tell us about whether they have a URL, do they have any actual power?
You have a sort of an okay relationship with the Atlanta Lyft office, and that's something.
That is something.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to do more stuff with it, help get off the ground.
No,
People just need
NASCAR
it.
in the
Okay, I
70s,
have
NASCAR.
the link. It's just the URL is just ridesharedriversunitedgeorgia.org.
Very lengthy, but very simple. I like it.
And our big demands are driver safety, fair pay, accountability and due process, ending the predatory rental programs, driver cap and regulations, and better airport conditions. Because I don't know if y'all have ever seen the airport parking lot where Ubers wait, but it fucking sucks.
Yeah, the one by our airport is awful. I was just like talking to somebody who drives Lyft recently, and she was just talking about how much it sucks to sit there so loud.
Tell us about it.
Oh, I wasn't even talking about that.
What's it like?
It's not loud in the Atlanta one.
Oh.
Far away? Is it hot? What are we worried about here?
Oh, it's just an open parking lot with like hundreds of Uber cars just waiting. There are no like facilities. There's these awful porta potties, and that's the only stuff we have.
Listen,
but
compared
to like the taxis where they have like really nice facilities and there's like a place where you get food and you have really nice bathrooms.
You think that you could make more money with a food cart at the parking lot
just selling to the Uber drivers? Yeah, what's up? You want a burrito? Come on.
Shit on ice.
That's what I want to do with the union. Just give out free food to people. I mean, free coffee. That would be cool. But I know it can be different because Brandon, you were saying.
Just fucking socialists. There's nothing that can be done with these people. I started to try to introduce you a method of getting some profit, and you're like, let's just give it away for free to the people.
Oh yeah, fuck profit, man. Like I don't. Wow, I'm really like seeing a new side of you on this podcast.
You should listen to this episode. We openly talk about new ways to grift all the time. They never work out, but like.
Yeah, we definitely.
Oh, no. Grifting is
talking
different.
about new grift.
I'm in very fear. Okay. I don't like business, but I like grift because if you're gonna fuck people over, you might as well just go all out. For me, it's either all or nothing. Like my
thing about this though is that like it's the same. Like everybody thinks that there's a difference between business and grifting. No, all business is grift. All of it. Every business.
Oh, yeah,
that's my thing.
It's based on lies.
Then I can do whatever grift I want.
The thing is, though, there's the people who realize that and the people who don't. And if I'm gonna grift, I'm gonna act like the people who know it's a grift and just like fucking just do insider trading, kicking, oil fracking, just all the horrible things.
Perfect.
So with that, we are on
again. I don't even know.
The prime season for grifting, which is Christmas.
Yes.
I saw a really good.
No, the prime season for grifting is November elections, but continue.
The second prime season for grifting, Christmas. I saw a really cool little chart, like a compass, and it had pro-Christmas, anti-Christmas, pro-capitalism, anti-capitalism, and it had Jesus, Santa, the Grinch, and Scrooge as the 4 layers.
Wow.
Do you, Kennedy? Do you have a place on that compass? Would you say you're more of a Jesus, a Santa, a Grinch, or a Scrooge?
I would say that I'm like a radical centrist lefty, like I'm halfway between Jesus and Grinch here. There's parts of me that are like, yeah, there's something to this whole let's have a holiday. And then there's the other parts of me that are like, destroy everything that society has ever created.
Adam, you're obviously disqualified from being Jesus. You killed that guy. But of the 3 remaining options...
joke's on you. I am Jesus.
Oh, damn it. Are you sure you're Jesus?
Well, I either half
Hey,
killed
no,
him
I'm
or
Luke,
half
but
am him.
still, I think that counts for something.
Absolutely.
No, for me,
I,
I'm definitely lean the Grinch, but I don't even really like actively hate Christmas. It's just like I was raised Jewish, so it's just not like a part of my life or like headspace. It's just for me. It's always been this thing that just other people do.
Are you celebrating it at all? Is it just
I
another
think like me
hang
and the other people who don't celebrate Christmas are going to celebrate something, possibly Festivus. Also,
For the
today was
rest
the
of it.
first night of Hanukkah. I forgot about that again
That
because
it is, yes, that's
yeah.
happening.
It's a thing.
What is the deal
The
with
shit
what is the
tier
deal with
holiday
Hanukkah?
we raised up.
You have some
Started
Hanukkah
from the
takes,
bottom,
right?
now it's here.
You have
Yeah,
some Hanukkah takes, right?
Before the show, you were revealing a hot Hanukkah take, which I liked actually.
Wait, did I not? Was that not recording?
Oh, we weren't recording.
Oh, okay, yeah. The secret of Hanukkah is it's bullshit. It's a bullshit holiday we raised up to the top tier to compete with Christmas, and no one wants to admit it.
It's super true, though.
I don't fully believe this because, like, I just feel like Hanukkah would be doing better if it was trying to compete. If it was really an effort to compete. Like, why is it doing so badly? Why? Where are
Because
the
we're only
Hanukkah?
like 2% of the U.S. population, man. I don't know.
Where are the
We're not going to
cartoons?
compete with Christmas. No one can ever
Where are the
really do that.
Where are the cartoons?
Yeah, I
Where are
mean,
the
let's be
Hallmark
real.
specials?
Well, there were some wonderful. No, the Rugrats had some great. Had a great Hanukkah episode.
No,
back when
that's true. Yeah,
Yeah, probably one of the best representations.
Rugrats killed it.
Yeah,
You
it
heard
totally
here,
killed it. I love
folks.
that as a kid. We would watch that in Sunday school. It's like, yeah, this is it. This is our holiday special. That's our version of Charlie Brown's Christmas.
That's right.
What's the best Hanukkah movie? Is it Eight Crazy Nights? Is it something else?
God,
I think it may just be that by default.
Yeah, I feel like that's the only one that I know about.
I don't want to agree, but I don't know what to say.
there aren't really any Hanukkah movies. I mean, there's
I watched that what was that newer Adam Sandler movie that's very Jewish? Mentioned Hanukkah a couple times. I don't know. Does that count?
Maybe it's Fievel and American Tail.
Yeah.
Hanukkah
There
is
you
that-
go.
yes, American Tail.
I
also
actually
wanna
okay.
give a shout
Fievel
out
was my
to-
shit. That was my shit as a
Oh,
kid.
that was
Not even kidding.
Here we go. That's arguably our winner then.
But I didn't even really know I was Jewish as a child because, like my parents are completely non-practicing. My mom's not into it at all. That's not even her heritage and she's not interested. So I didn't even I had to figure out later what any of this was even about. And Hanukkah doesn't make sense to me still at all. I don't know what this one's supposed to be. I could tell you about some of the other holidays.
Oh, Hanukkah's well, I think it's great. Well, I think it's great. Well, I have a little bit of mixed feelings about Hanukkah, but yeah. I also want to give a shout out to the Hanukkah zombie from Futurama.
Bender's Big Score, or is that something else?
Yeah. No, he wasn't Bender. He's been in several things, but he was also in Bender's Big Score.
There you go.
Bender's Big Score, such a good film, just a classic of the.
Oh yeah, the
art.
Those movies were so great. I mean, straight to DVD.
So let's talk a little bit about just like dealing with the holidays as a socialist. Like I think we've been touching on that a little bit. This was sort of the loose concept that we had for this episode. I think that most of us can relate to the feeling of being at a holiday, whether it's Hanukkah, Christmas, you're one of the 12 people that celebrate Kwanzaa, whatever holiday.
Yeah.
Like you've probably had this experience of being at the dinner table and you're just trying to get through this shit and someone is insisting you talk about a subject that is for whatever reason difficult for you or difficult for them or the combination, really. Yeah, I don't know. Like let's just talk about like some stories that we've had. I'm sure we all have them. And like just kind of maybe we could discuss some of the ways that we've successfully or not so successfully navigated this bullshit around this time of year because there's a lot of it.
Well, let's first tackle like how much it should be navigated. Adam, I know you love Twitter discourse. I don't know if you remember this controversy, but there was a woman on Twitter who just made a post and was just saying like, I have like old racist relatives, and if they're just saying like some shit that I don't like, I just ignore them because I only see them twice a year and they're senile. And that person had like the fires of hell rain down upon them. And a lot of the takes were like, listen, if you're not confronting your racist white relatives, you are creating and perpetuating white supremacy, all that kind of shit. I basically, Adam, to what degree should we be confronting our relatives over the holidays with these discussions? I kind of feel like, well, I'll let you go first. You just tell me what you.
I'm of the opinion you should confront them and just confront them. And if it breaks up the family, so be it. Fuck them. Like, I know that sounds really harsh, but like, that's just how I am. I mean, but also it's part of the thing where like I've stopped hanging out with big parts of my family because I don't know, we've lost touch. And also the family I do hang out with, the most right-leaning person is probably my grandma, and she's a big resistance lib, which is like not that bad. So it's like for me it's hasn't come up that much except with some parts of family. But I'm just like, you know, if I can't feel comfortable talking about how what should be good in the world, then I don't really want to talk to you. So there's that.
Kennedy, you support the abolition of the family. So how do you feel about
Well, you already put me on the spot with that intro, but yeah, I'm not that particularly attached to the idea of a like designated family unit and an obligation to those people. I do think that your chosen family can include blood family, and that's okay. But you know, I don't think that you have an obligation to like maintain decorum in these settings. And in fact, I think that for far too long, part of the problem has been just kind of quietly sitting there, nodding along as your uncle says something completely homophobic. And, you know, sometimes it sucks to call people out for this stuff, but you kind of just have to, in my opinion, at least. Not all the time, but like if you never say anything, then nothing ever changes.
So to just represent the other side of the argument with some things that are true, it's not your job to fight every battle that comes across you in life. You know, if you were to really contest everything that made you roll your eyes, you literally would not have time to do shit else. I find it so weird that like people made like a huge deal of you've got to confront people in your life. Listen, if you are like a black person of my age, you have at least like 5 people in your life that have completely shit-headed take, and you roll your eyes at them and you just continue living your life. If you ever fucking had your hair cut professionally, there's at least 2 complete dickheads in whatever room you're going in. It's not your job to confront everybody on every subject, and it's got to be like at your own discretion of when and where you do that.
I definitely agree
However,
with what you're saying, but like
right,
when it's the family and the holidays,
right.
I don't know.
I want to. Well, I'm just leaving that out
Keep
as
going.
like
Keep
the thing
going.
that's true, but I want to. I want to continue though.
Yeah.
You need to be a person that can handle confrontation if you want to like make it in life in general, and make it as an advocate for any serious political discussion outside of Twitter in general. Like you need to be able to talk to people and have conversations that might not 100% make you comfortable. And as much as people say liberals or the left live in a bubble, Republicans live in a deep fucking bubble. They invented the bubble. There are a handful of people who like were raised in a bubble like the last 5 or 6 years. But if you're talking to like an old person that's like over the age of like 50 or whatever, they were born in the bubble. They were raised in the bubble. You are probably the first thing that they've personally encountered that is outside the bubble. For the most part, their discussion that of political views that aren't their own are other people telling them what other people think. They're going to get mad at you and then not really have much to say. Like that's any deeper of a conversation than what you would hear on a Limbaugh segment. So if you have any sort of interaction with right-wing views, and if you are in America, you have way more exposure to those views. You already know what their arguments are going to be. And for the sake of other people that are in the room, like if it's just you and one person, maybe you don't want to put up with it, but like there are other people in your family that are gonna be apolitical, but they're gonna let the shit that they overhear sink in with them. So for the same reason that people argue,
Absolutely.
yeah, for the same reason that people argue about bullshit over the internet, and it might not be for that person they're arguing with, but it's for the audience. Like if there's like kids listening or something, they should hear some sort of pushback against their drunk Uncle Miles talking shit. And you shouldn't have problems like talking about.
Look, obviously you have to pick all your battles. And like, I'm not saying that like you should turn every holiday meal into a battleground, but if you just never address it at all, then I mean,
Listen, if you are popping all kinds
you
of
have
shit,
to pick some moments to take a stand. And like you say, the kids and other people that are around that are impressionable are so important. Like, it's disheartening if you are, for instance, an LGBT youth and you are like, let's say 12, and you're starting to figure out that you're not straight or whatever, that you're not the gender that you were assigned at birth or something. And you're sitting around at that dinner table and you already probably feel like shit just showing up there. And then like Uncle Ted's just like, people really gotta be careful about all this transition and stuff. Like, that sucks for that kid so bad if that's all they hear all night.
Your goal has got to be to make them go, well, I'm not really interested in politics anyway. That's the end goal. To get them to just throw their hands up and walk away from the conversation. They'll never obviously say they were wrong about anything. But you can just fucking humiliate them.
Also, here's the thing. If you're gonna be in these settings at all, like if you just want to break ties with your family and run off because they suck, great, or at least fine. But like, what baffles me is the people that will consistently choose to be in these settings over and over and over again, where they just let these conservative family members dunk on them. Don't let your family members do that to you. Fuck that.
Yeah, let them really expose themselves. Like, just ask questions. You don't have to like yell at them and call them or whatever. Just ask them what happens to X group. And they kind of like will expose themselves and either horrify the room or horrify themselves or both. Like, I don't feel like we need to give a debate guide. If you're talking about any subject, just ask about what happens to X group when we do what you want. And there are a handful of people who are really over the edge and they're like, yeah, man, let those we will make a monument of dead in America. But most of them, but when they do that, like the rest of the room will look around and be like, oh my God. And someone will jump in and like try to mercifully end the conversation. That's generally the best you're gonna get. And it's something. Yeah,
But seriously, like, if you can't
don't put yourself in
ever
the
have
setting.
those conversations, don't put yourself in those settings.
Just don't put yourself in settings. Don't talk to family members you don't like. Just treat
So
them like every other right-wing person.
Why do I have to
build them
exile
in Nashville.
myself? If I'm listening to this podcast, why do I have to exile myself from my family because Uncle Miles gets drunk and fucking loses his shit? Like, let's get Uncle
You
Miles.
don't have to, but Uncle Miles is taking a stand for what he believes in.
Let's get
Like,
Uncle Miles the fuck out of the room. Why do I have to? I don't want to be with my family. You already have a curated existence on your social media. You already have a curated existence in what you watch. If you've got a Netflix account, there's already a fucking algorithm for that. One of the few areas of your life that haven't been arranged for you like a consumer choice is who your relatives are.
That's why it's great. That's why it sucks.
You should not be.
That's why family sucks. Like you just said it right there. Like, what's the? I mean, like half of your family.
Is your goal to have power or come? If your goal is to have power, you should have power wherever you're at. Power doesn't come from like, well, somebody said something and I don't want to confront.
Then what should I do then? Should I reconnect with the conservative parts of my family in order to get in fights with them? Because that doesn't sound like.
If somebody invites you to something and you don't want to go because Uncle Miles
don't get invitations, like,
if you want to go somewhere and you want to eat something, then just go eat and fuck that guy.
It's not just one guy. It's like everybody, man. I mean, it's just like.
You know what,
I just don't see why I should hang out with people.
This might be. Aren't you supposed to be Mr. Organizer? That's literally all you do is hang out.
I mean, yeah, but like that's because I choose to do that because I really am passionate and want to. Well, like, I mean, it takes a lot out of me. Like, I need to recharge myself. Like, it's not some like it's work. But it's stuff I care about.
Yeah, here's the deal. I might be completely in the wrong. Like, white people might have a completely different experience. Like, if you go to a gathering and it's like 20 chuds and like it's like you and one other person. Like, maybe that's just too much shit to put up with. I don't know, man. I'm not like in that world. Yeah, but just in general, like what's like in your ideal world, what's your goal? What should be done with people who have those views? And if it's not to confront them, is it to marginalize
Well, I mean, I
them?
can
And if
confront them, but
so,
I'm not going to do it over like the table. I'm going to do it the usual ways we do with like voting, elect actions, and that stuff.
well, they're gonna vote. Let me tell you. Oh, we talked to Asher, and he was like, "I'm spoiling future events," but we talked to Asher, and he was like, "The one thing I can say about people in my district, all of them vote. None of them are politically disengaged. It's rare that I talk to somebody that doesn't vote, and they're fucking all voting Republican." um, so I don't know. Kennedy, how do you feel about this power versus mental health versus curating your life and all that?
I mean, I think that, like I said, if you don't want to be with your family, that's fine. Just like make that choice, And if they just basically are shitty for you to be around, stop forcing it upon yourself. However, that said, like there's all kinds of reasons why you might want to keep those ties, and I get that. I really do. So, if you're in that position though, like I was kind of saying a minute ago, Uncle Ted is willing to speak his beliefs. He's not scared. He's not wondering, am I going to upset everybody at the table by talking about Trump? He just starts doing it. Why are we on the left not comfortable with that same kind of action? Like, we should be just as comfortable to just be like, yeah, Uncle Ted, I did see that on the news, and I think it's heckin' racist, everything you just said.
And that guy, like, he's gonna go until the rest of the room like shouts at him and tells him to stop, and he might not stop then. And a great political leader once said, those that hate, they hate with conviction, and those that love do it very passively. They do it without any conviction at all. And political change comes when those who love do so with like conviction and willingness to confront. But look, I mean, you also have to do that and also preserve yourself.
Sure.
There's no right answers, but I'm just saying, like in general, when we talk about like the left versus the right, you don't hear this conversation in right wing circles of. Well, actually, no, that's not true. There actually are lots of conversations in right wing circles about like my family has disengaged from me since I started supporting Trump, and I'm eating a bologna sandwich for dinner. And I'm sad. MAGA 2020. It doesn't really change them, but they go online and they post about it. I hear about that a lot, actually.
It does happen.
What if they're a police officer?
Say what?
What if they're a police officer?
God. So
what if you actually think they've committed a war crime? That's not being hyperbolic, actually.
Do you have any relatives that have committed war crimes?
I have a cousin-in-law who was in the IDF.
I'll do it.
Yeah, that's pretty suspect.
Is it Gal Gadot? Is your cousin Gal Gadot?
No, it's not Gal Gadot.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think that has to be reasonable limits. This is not all of this, like, confront your family members. This is not one size fits all advice. Making it work with your family members, not one size fits all advice. Distancing yourself completely from your family members, not one size fits all advice. Family is so fucking messy that there is no possible way that we could just be like, here's one tip for the holidays that'll help everybody. So we're just kind of like doing our best here to cover a lot of different concepts and places. But I hope that none of you are listening to this and thinking, wow, they want me to do what? Because no, we don't want you to do anything.
I do.
But
what do you want people to do, Adam?
If your uncle says some bullshit, throw your drink at him. Whack him right in the face. Fuck him.
I think I can't really
ruin holidays. Just do it. Okay?
The war on Christmas starts here.
In the holiday, unite your younger cousins and just kick the shit out of your bullshit uncle.
I love this shit. Well, here's the thing. I can't tell everybody what to do in every situation, but I do think that human beings in general, just be more ready for confrontation. Be more willing for confrontation. Yeah. Build your capacity for confrontation. Just because like you're gonna need it outside of your discussions with your relatives, you're gonna need it at your job or in the neighborhood or just in life. So if you feel like doing that in general is weighing on you, work on it. Like improve your capacity to that, because that's the people who you're trying to stop have plenty of capacity.
Absolutely. Like I said, Uncle Ted, he doesn't hesitate. We've all seen this guy, we all know who I'm talking about here. Like he does not hesitate for even 1 second.
Yeah. So, when Uncle Ted stumbles in and he says, the impeachment of Trump was the worst miscarriage of justice since the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. What do you say to Uncle Ted?
I mean, in this fictional scenario, tell him no, you're wrong, you goddamn idiot.
But also, I mean, I think that there are a lot of ways that you can lay out the case for impeachment that different people can understand. I don't know how deep we want to get into all of that. Like,
Y'all are focusing too much on Ted. This is the okay. I just want to talk about this. Is like the problem I have with why everyone frames this discussion is that the onus is always on like Uncle Ted. Uncle Ted, he's the person you should be worrying about. No, it's like all the other people. You need to like set the tone that your politics are what's acceptable and theirs not, and you just got to figure out how that's going to happen. And who gives a shit what happens to Uncle Ted in the meantime?
But that is who you're going to be talking across, like, just realistically.
What?
He's the one who's going to be there on the other side of the table, you know, with little bits of food flying at you with every syllable.
Very vivid, very vivid memories and very vivid recollections of your angry uncle. What kind of people, I mean, would you guys rather talk about impeachment or would you guys rather talk about what kind of people do you want to hang out with during the holiday? One of those.
Well, actually, can we maybe go a third place real quick? Because I do like relatively agree with Adam here, and actually something that I wanted to get into was the subject of basically neolibs around the holidays, like as like a little aside here. We don't have to go super deep into it, but just as like a side note to this whole thing.
Are we talking like vote blue no matter who neolibs? Are we talking about that Pete seems like a nice young man neolib?
Yeah, any of that. I mean, that's all bad.
Problematic neolib.
Uncle Ted is a neolib.
Oh, yeah.
That's the worst time to Uncle Ted.
Yeah, like sometimes Uncle Ted isn't going, Trump's immigration policies are great, you should shut the hell up, or something like that. Sometimes Uncle Ted's going,
on the barrel of my shotgun, you try to take my president away from me, boy.
Right. Sometimes Uncle Ted's going, well, don't you think that Pete Buttigieg is a more realistic leader?
Triggered.
So let's talk about that for a minute, because I think that can be even harder to confront sometimes, but I don't think it's less necessary to confront, in terms of like, if you're willing to confront racist Uncle Ted, you should also be willing to confront racist but secret about it Uncle Ted, which is the neolib one, if that wasn't obvious.
Well, do you start by calling him racist? Because he's going to say he voted for Obama twice. And I would have voted for him a third time if he had run.
I actually think personally, the most effective tactic that I've found is either turning their arguments kind of back on them or questioning their own progressivism in the right ways. Now, neolibs will get very indignant a lot of times if you kind of question their commitment to progressive values. But if you can demonstrate that what they're saying is anti-progressive, that it will actually like lead to regression, then a lot of times that's when they're in that corner where they can't really say anything else and they throw their hands up in the air.
Adam, how do you deal with the resistance libs in your life?
Kennedy just said kind of what I said. I mean, that's basically what I did with my mom. I just, talked about her, tried to figure out the right ways to say it, to reveal kind of the ways she wasn't really progressive, and she's a Bernie supporter now, and she made a donation, which is cool.
That's very cool.
I don't have a lot of opportunities to clash with relatives. My relatives are usually apolitical or religious, or they're left wing, and they may support a policy that's to the right of me because they're like, white people aren't going to go for that, boy. And in those situations, you just have to like talk about numbers and the viability of things, and you kind of have to talk from more of like a game theory perspective of this is like a winning platform, and then you talk about, this guy got X number of people to a rally, or the polls are at this kind of level, and then at that stage, they will kind of like go to just a religious faith in what is, and they'll be like, well, it might be the case now, but come this summer, things are gonna change because people ain't paying attention right now. You have those kind of discussions, and those discussions are like, you can't win with people like that right off the bat. Like, you have to just kind of work to open their minds about things and let them see for yourself after like people have done the work and become more possible. I mean, that seems impossible, but
Demonstrating that change is possible is very difficult.
right. It always
Yeah,
blows.
for me, that's probably the hardest thing, and also the thing I sympathize with the most. Like, I really don't have that big a problem with like apolitical people, because if you're on the left, like politics is super depressing, and so I don't blame people for tuning it out.
Literally is. It's the worst thing. I don't know why any of us show. We could have talked just about Star Wars entire hour and had fun.
I
We
haven't
could have
seen
made
it
money and gone on
yet.
physical tours. We're smart enough to
Yes.
figure out that.
So use the Jedi mind trick on your relative this
Yes.
season. And just
Unironically, this.
people can use whatever bathroom they leave them. I am minding my own fucking business. I'm minding my own fucking. The dinner's great, and you've won. Obi-Wan never had these kind of problems with his relative. Great.
Did Obi-Wan have a family?
I think they take
Yes.
you from your family when you're a little kid.
It is like some
a monk, like
yeah, like some llama.
Yeah, pretty much
status.
every Jedi was raised by the Dalai Lama. It's actually super fucked up.
this is why
We're
the
gonna have to
Jedi.
get into sometime maybe like llamas. That's an interesting discussion, honestly.
Yeah, because I think they're a lot grosser and weirder than.
Yes.
Oh, wait, I thought we were talking about the Dalai Lama.
Yeah.
We are. We're talking about
Yeah.
that in general. We're talking about that whole movement. Americans fetishize them because capitalism, and we can get into that too.
Also,
they're
because
like,
Buddhism
you
is
ever
sort of
heard-
considered to be like an untouched religion in the eyes of like a lot of white liberals. Like somehow it was never corrupted in the way that other religions were. Guess
Because
what?
they don't
You're
know-
so fucking wrong.
because they don't know the history of any of those religions. Like it's completely ahistorical. They've read like 2 books on the subject max, and neither of them were history books.
It's just
Yeah.
It's just to the people who like that stuff. Like that's a real life version of the movie trope, the magical Asian, kind of similar to the magical Negro, but slightly different. And
Agreed.
I think that's like.
In conclusion, the Jedi were bad. They deserve to be eradicated.
Unironically, this.
Yeah, and there needed to be a new order that was not as stuck up and weird. Luke Skywalker should have been the person to do that, but he's a fuck up and a failure, and we hate him. So, thanks everybody.
I don't know if we hate him, but he is a failure.
He really blew it. Thank you everybody for listening. We'll talk about Star Wars some other time after we've all seen the new movie. Spoiler alert, it's terrible. It's the worst one. You'll want to light yourself on fire. Really bad. It's really bad.
Spoiler alert,
Wow.
Chewbacca is really Luke's father.
Yeah, it's true. They actually play a flashback of the conception of Chewbacca. Him and Padme, and they got what's her face back for like a short 20-second clip. Natalie Portman. It's actually Hanukkah themed, which never was in Star Wars. I don't know where the menorah comes into play, but yeah, Chewbacca is just making all kinds of sounds and he's hitting it from the back. And you actually don't get to see Wookiee dick, which is great, but it's very strongly implied. And I was just very uncomfortable. So thank you for listening.
That's fair. I'm very uncomfortable with this outro.
So on behalf of Kennedy Cooper, who's uncomfortable, Adam, are you comfortable or uncomfortable?
I'm always uncomfortable. I'm on the spectrum, so I'm just like that.
Deeply uncomfortable threesome. Thank you for watching. Merry Christmas, everybody.
We definitely
Pat,
cannot
no,
look each other
don't
in the
say
eye
that.
anymore.
Oh,
We're all
damn
gonna
it.
need
You
investments
just got
for
us
shade.
canceled by the whole left.
Over.
Our show's over now. I just looked at the stats. Twitter's
Great.
all over this. They said that Not Safe for Wonks said Merry Christmas. If you still listen to this podcast, you are lib.
You're canceled.
Thanks for a great series finale. We'll see you guys later. Goodbye.
But seriously, happy
Reddit.
holidays, everyone. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.